So it's interesting to note that I've never seen an episode of Ponies Magic do this. So it starts off like near the end, and then they're like, "Holy shit, what's going on?" This is going on, and then they're like, "Rarity, don't." The theme song plays, and then they're like, "Oh, let's read," because it's a review for her boutique, and then they Tarantino it where they retrace the steps, and then they like go back, and they're like, "Oh well." It's like, well, we gotta put the pieces together, find out what happened. So she's like, okay, let's read the review together. And she's yelling at them, no spoilers, which is hilarious. And it's like, what the hell
Oh yeah,
happened?
she's basically River Song. Spoilers.
And so the and so the and so the episode's just like, oh, let's start to read. And it's like, what happened? But then it's like, we gotta go back. And it's funny. Speaking of Tarantino, did you notice the pulp? Did you notice the Sam Jackson pony?
No, I didn't actually.
In the diner. When they first show the diner, there's a Samuel L. Jackson a la Pulp Fiction pony with what I can only assume is the John Travolta pony.
Oh my gosh.
So
So,
so that's so big. So apparently, according to Frenchman's Magic, Big Lebowski and Pulp Fiction take place in the same universe.
and considering those are two of the most like violent and raunchy films that have ever been made, that's actually pretty funny.
Have there been raunchier? Sure. Have there been violenter? Yes. But if we're talking like mainstream films that are accepted as like required watching for film people, yeah, they're pretty gnarly. That's par for the course with Tarantino, though. So
Honestly, though, if you think about it, that gave Samuel L. Jackson like some of the best lines ever,
damn,
especially when
so
he's just like,
right down.
"English, motherfucker, do you speak it?"
So so one of the things that this episode did, which I thought was hilarious. So they kind of they kind of well, first it starts off with Brady in the diner, and he's interviewing her for because the interview the takes place after the events of the opening of Rarity. What's the name of the boutique? Rarity and You.
Yeah, I think so, something like that.
And all the main six get interviewed. And what I love about this, they kind of do that reality show thing where shit happens in the episodes, but then it segues back to one of them talking about one of the things that happened.
You know,
And
in all honesty, I, seeing the intro and them running and saying, "We blabbed to a reporter, it's going to be a bad review," and them actually going through and talking about it. And I'm like, okay, this is going to be kind of an interesting episode, I suppose. And then they switch to the diner where, it starts out with Rarity. And by the way, yes, that is a J. Jonah Jameson pony. I swear to God.
it's as good as he could get.
Yeah. And in all honesty, I kind of wish they had hired J.K. Simmons to do the voice.
That'd be great.
But you know what's really interesting is there was a meme I saw that it was the scene in Spider-Man 2 where you see J.K. Simmons holding that like gripping that piece of paper and going, "I want Spider-Man," It was and it said when she sends nudes, but you wanted pictures of Spider-Man. And I was just thinking, you know what? What if this time it's just when she sends nudes, but you wanted pictures of ponies?
Uh, Need to think about that one. So
I
they
know, I know,
so
I
they
know. The topic community is probably going to go wild with that.
so they so the episode chronologically begins about halfway to a quarter through the episode. I don't think that makes sense. So they're at Rarity and You, and the place sucks. It's dusty. There's raccoons everywhere. Her shit hasn't arrived yet, and she's got this landlord. I don't know. It sounded like it was Cheech Marin voicing him, but I know it wasn't. But he was trying to sound like Cheech Marin a bit. I don't know. It had that like stereotypical like Hispanic voice, but like
Mm.
a South Hispanic voice. So I'm just like, ooh, Central America. or I guess Central Equestrian or whatever. So, and he's got this nerdy looking daughter with braces, and he's like, hey, so let my daughter work for you, or I'll jack up your rent until you can't pay it. And I got a question: is that more blackmail or is that more extortion?
Well, I think it's more extortion because if you think back to Ponyville Confidential, what Diamond Tiara was doing was blackmail. I think this was more extortion. Like, I have more power than you, and I'm going to be able to use it to, kind of like usurp my way over you.
Kind of sounds like the EA marketing department. Although
Shots
although
fired.
although come to think of it, I'm pretty sure that Rarity's landlord works for the EA marketing department.
In
Anyway,
all honesty, though, EA, stop making the EA Sports be like a full release every year. Make it one time per console generation, and then the rest be $20 DLC. Because that's really all it is.
but John, it's in the game.
Oh my gosh. I remember back when Acclaim still had the rights to do sports games, and they had the NFL Quarterback Club. That was my football game.
But John, it's EA. That means you have to challenge everything. So yeah, they try to spruce the place up. Rarity's trying to remain in good spirits. It's almost a Rarity Breaks episode, but it's not quite. And it's hilarious because they just keep bringing in the fantastic problem after problem. First, Fluttershy tries to deal with the raccoons, and what were their name? Like Smokey Jr. What was the other one?
I don't remember.
Well, there's that.
But still, it was hysterical. It's just like, yeah, we're living in the back here, and yeah, the landlord hasn't found us out yet, so we're kind of hiding.
And then EA vice president's daughter is coming up with all these weird, crazy ideas, and I don't know why, but I kind of agree with Applejack. I for some reason really dig the idea of clothes made of spoons.
But if you really look at it, this whole time, now you have each type of the main six, like each personality type, talking to this reporter in that diner.
Yes.
Pink Pie is awesome, especially if she has cookies and ice cream everywhere while she's talking.
And
AJ
jumping ahead of it, but after she's eaten like 15 pounds of food, she makes the interviewer foot the bill.
Oh yeah. But what's interesting is AJ really was displaying her element of honesty here, because seriously, like, her first words out of her mouth, she like sets her hooves on the table, and it's like it was a Plum Tucker disaster, but when it gets to that point where she's having to deal with the landlord's daughter and the spoon thing, she's just like, I think she had good ideas, but still just a little too weird,
And one of my favorite scenarios was when Pinkie Pie had to quiet down. Well, first Rarity goes upstairs to a club that's rented out by DJ Pomebury. By the way, I like how she's just officially part of the lore now.
And especially the fact that, like, I want to go back with like some bassy headphones and listen to some of that music, because I'm just like, man, she is pumping out some good beats right now.
I'm like, dude, those beats. What's something people say these days? Oh, those beats were fire. They were fire AF, bruh.
That reminds me of a Tumblr post I saw, that it was this guy in FYE, and he goes to It's the little slip that tells like the different genres of music slash like what letters they are. One of them says punk AF, and so the guy was just like, "Oh my gosh, me too." I was just like, "Really?"
And then Pinky goes up there, and she's like, yo, I know Vile drops only the sickest beats, and she actually said sickest beats, and I'm like, I'm like, friendship is magic. No, don't let him go that crazy with the modern the modernizing. I kept wanting to say the monetizing. I'm like, I'm getting too into YouTube
Well,
politics.
honestly, monetizing is modern nowadays when you look at
Oh yeah,
YouTube.
yeah, that's true. And I can't remember exactly what she put on. All I know is that it's just this like goofy. There's this goofy little soft music that's like that sounds like it was made by like a half brother of Weird Al, and she's just hooked it out of there, and it's like I don't know why like that's probably the joke that made me laugh the hardest, just because. And then Pinkie Pie tries to sell it off with that big ass smile, and she
Oh
just
yeah,
scoots away.
she's just like sitting back. No, she starts trying to dance to it. And it's like,
Yeah,
yeah, you see this and in all honesty, looking at some of the characters in this rave area, I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, they are actually looking at like I don't know if you've ever been to a rave scene, but there's people in the rave scene that have these like finger gloves
yeah,
that they move them around and stuff like that.
yeah. No,
I think that's what Pinkie Pie was trying to emulate there.
dude, they do the sickest shit, and it's awesome.
Uh,
I don't know. The raves around here get kind of crazy. You ever? Let me just tell you, I've never seen so much paint in my life. Oh, yeah, I'm completely forgetting. Fucking Rainbow Dash is trying to hire people, and
oh
here's the thing.
yeah.
And here's my thing. They were all saying what would Rarity want them to do, and Rainbow Dash had no excuse for some of her stuff. She literally could have just kept asking them fabric questions, and I really think that because she ended up hiring all three of them, so really she should have just asked them the questions, and then that should have just been it. But no, they had to complicate it. Oh yeah, and then
Mhm.
Twilight's rearranging all the dresses and shit, and
But
she felt,
right before that, when the dust settles and they're trying to sweep it up or whatever,
oh
and
yeah,
Twilight's just like, yeah, sweeping can be fun. She's just like, sweep, sweep, sweep. And then
yeah.
it
Well, yeah,
switches.
while the rain music's playing, it's like sweet, sweet. And I'm like, that joke's probably the tiniest bit dated, but I don't care. That's funny.
Yeah. What's even funnier though is it switches back to when they're talking to the reporter, and you have AJ and Rainbow Dash sitting there, and they're just like, "Man, that crap was so lame," and they puff bump each other, and then it switches back, and they're singing along with Twilight in the actual thing.
And and so everything just keeps going wrong. And while Rarity's in the window display, they lock her in,
Hmm.
which okay, I don't understand. I don't know if she. I don't think she can teleport, but shouldn't she have been able to magic the door open?
Well, she tried to, but they put like I think they put like a chair in front of it or something.
Well,
Like
that's
they
what I
wedged a
mean.
chair.
Well, that's what I mean. Magic versus you're gonna tell me that Rare. I don't care if she's not as strong or OP as Twilight. As Twilight, please nerf goal. Like there's no reason why a wooden chair should be able to stop her from magicking a door.
Well, here's the thing.
Because
She
if
was
that's the
mad.
case,
Well,
technically
okay,
she's
hold
weaker than
on.
Trixie.
She was magicking the knob, and Twilight had already told her, "Oh, for some reason it's like jammed. We're working on it." I don't know. But I see what you mean. That like if she had just pushed a little harder, maybe we would have actually gone to that point.
And then it gets to the part where they introduce the moral, and I don't know why. It's like if an episode doesn't star Twilight, but she's the one that gives the moral, it doesn't really hit as well for me personally. Not just because season 6 has been a tiny bit hit or miss. No, that's how I've always felt about it. And they're all
and the only reason it happened in season 1 is because she was the main character.
Well, yeah,
she was designed as that character of like, we're supposed to relate to Twilight so that we can see the interactions between her and her friends. And then the letters back to Celestia is what the little girls or whatever, whoever would learn.
Right,
but it feels very outdated now.
Really, weirdly enough, I really feel like after Twilight became an alicorn, I feel like, well, one, she kind of stopped being the main character by about most of season 3. But really, after she became the alicorn, they probably should have lessened some of. Well, in season 4, they did. They really only focused on her shit for the Discord episode and then the premiere and finale. So that's fine, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But then that's the thing. It's like, again, because no one really knows how to write Twilight consistently half the time. She either comes off as too smart, too dumb, or too nerdy, or too. Sometimes she's just a dick. And
if you really think about it, though, she has like the exact same type of temperament as she did in Rainbow Falls, where she's just like, choosing not to choose isn't really a choice. So I'm like, really? Really? You're pulling that stick out of your ass again. Really?
To be fair, the way they wrote the episode, there really wasn't. Well, actually, yeah, there wasn't. There was another way they could have done it. They couldn't have gotten Twilight involved nearly as much and have Rainbow Dash reach the conclusion by herself.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'll admit her injuring herself was funny. Her faking her injury was funny, but anyway, sorry, back to the review. Yeah, so I don't know. So like when Twilight's like, she depended on us because she trusted our judgment. It's like, okay, first off, your whole thing was you were just organizing some clothes. Everyone else, Rainbow Dash had to hire people.
Mm-hmm.
Pinkie Pie had to deal with noise complaints. Freaking Fluttershy had look at it this way. Take the fact that there are raccoons out of it. Fluttershy had to evict a family.
Exactly.
And she's just like, now she does that thing where she's like, now girls, I think we need to. It's like, fuck you, Twilight. and everyone's like, oh, I get it now. We shouldn't have. But here's the thing. The way that everyone was handling things prior to them getting the moral out, and they're like, what would Rarity want us to do? That's literally what Rarity wanted them to do. I mean, Rarity wasn't opposed to like them hiring all the people, or DJ Pone 3, doing all that. But that's what she was like, oh, hey, good idea. But but no, it just felt like there was just that bit of conflict there in the episode where it didn't really need to be. They just kind of needed to pad it out. I mean, I'm not saying that this was a simple problem with a simple solution. I'm just saying that what they were getting wrong when they were like, what would Rarity want us to do? It's like that's literally what she would have wanted them to do. So is the episode saying that Rarity's wrong? Because if Rarity's wrong, then technically Rarity's wrong for putting so much faith in her friends. But it's like, are her friends wrong? Because it's like, the only bad guy here is the fucking EA guy. Is the landlord. He's the only actual bad guy. But even then, he just wants his daughter to help out. So I don't know. The moral was a little conflicting. It wasn't confusing. It was just conflicting between being decently well intended, but executed. I wouldn't say executed dumb or bad. It was just executed kind of. It's like you ever go on a trampoline and it's not tight enough, so you kind of sink more into the trampoline than you thought you would. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like that.
In all honesty, though, when you really look at this, it almost feels like the kind of thing where we've seen this kind of conflict resolution before,
But
so it almost feels a bit tired.
didn't they kind of do the same shit in Castle Sweet Castle?
No, that was more of her friends actually coming to that conclusion themselves, like without. But I mean, I guess I was thinking more like Rarity Takes Manhattan or something like that.
Yeah, Rarity Takes Manhattan was good.
Hmm.
So yeah,
See,
so
if
then
you want to have a good conflict resolution that resonated well, that didn't really hear, go check Rarity Takes Manhattan.
see, I knew you'd warm up to that episode.
I mean, it's still a good episode, but I don't think it was the best thing since sliced bread as people were touting it to be.
Well, here's the thing: the best thing since sliced bread was in this order: bacon, then mustard. Okay.
But even before sliced bread was the best thing since Betty White, because Betty White was born before sliced bread.
Oh shit, that's right.
And honestly, she was one of the best things of the Golden Girls.
Yeah. So the episode ends with okay, so the I just realized something. So the raccoons are the hired help waiters, and I just realized there's accidentally some unintentional racial subtext there. Um, and let's see. Rainbow Dash hires all three, which, in all honesty, that was probably the least difficult problem to come up with a solution to.
Mm-hmm.
Twilight. What the fuck did Twilight do?
She organized all the dresses. But basically, she had it.
5 stars.
But she did have it to the point of like she kind of had it in the form of like the Dewey Decimal System, where Rarity could find anything and everything within 3 seconds.
Okay, Kramer. My thing's Pinkie Pie. How in the hell did because let me deconstruct this. Look at what she probably had to do. She had to go to DJ Poem 3, one, apologize for fucking up her music set, and second, convince her to close her club early and then come down to Rarity's boutique and then play for the opening. That most likely wasn't free, so you have to wonder how much, because DJ Poem 3 is a contracted talent throughout all of Ponyville. She's essentially world famous. So she probably had to shell out quite a few bits for that. So,
but in all honesty,
my god, this episode put Rarity in debt. I mean, put Pinkie Pie in debt.
But if you look at it in like the form of like how Vinyl Scratch is in her like mute personality, she seems to be the kind of character that's not only helpful, but she's like, if she gets something that she thinks is a little weird, she's like, heck yeah, let's do it, you know? Because back in Slice of Life, she freaking used this huge, gigantic moving turntable to ride their way to the wedding.
Which is one of the best inventions the show's ever did.
Yeah, and especially the fact that they had that plush shark and they jumped it.
That's right. That was so good. So, and I forgot what Applejack ended up doing with EA's daughter.
Well, basically, she said, "Let's try it, but dial it a bit back." And she had these glove things.
Oh right, the club spoons.
I mean, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, they're making Wolverine cloth.
To be fair, I mean, when I was a kid, I used to do that all the time. I would bring extra pencils just so I could do that when I'm bored.
Right? Or like you remember how to remember that there was like if you had a piece of paper, you can make like a claw out of it.
Yeah.
And make like 5 of them and have like this huge claw thing.
Yeah, I was so smart, quote unquote, when I was a kid. I used to do that, but with forks, and just be like, "Yeah, I'm Super Wolverine." I'm not. Wolverine's made of adamantium. I'm made of adamantium plus.
Well, if you think about it, adamantium, it'll have the thing shoot out, and then it'll just keep dividing itself into smaller and smaller units.
It's like Wolverine's bones are as hard as metal. I'm just like, dude, metal is my bones. Call me Metallica. So so the interview goes swimmingly. In fact, the guy loves it. They give it +5 stars. And Rarity's like, aw, you guys didn't have to worry yourselves about doing what I want. All that I trusted your guys' judgment, and that's perfect enough for me. My little, oh no, then it flashes back to and then it really quick it ends with a thing of EA's daughter just like I don't know, I think she just smiles or something. And then the episode ends. And I'm very conflicted, thinking like, okay, on one hand, pretty funny episode. On the other hand, morals kind of on the tard side. So what do I feel about this?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I felt it was a good episode. Yeah, because it's 6 seasons in, I feel like they're kind of treading on some things, but it's certainly a lot better than some of the other shows I've seen, especially Family Guy.
I thought you were gonna see SpongeBob. Yeah, Family Guy pisses me off, man. That show was my favorite show since I discovered it in like 2001. Well, okay, my favorite cartoon of all time is Ed, Edd n Eddy. But Family Guy was my shit. But
now it's
goddamn,
now it is just total crap.
But goddamn, ever since 2010, it's just been.
I watched up to season 10, and that was it. I watched one episode of season 11 where they went to climb Mount Everest, and the only joke I laughed at was where Peter feels like he's going to get sick. He pukes, and it freezes on contact, so he takes it out. I was like, here, Brian, have a treat.
And Brian's like, oh, you know I'll eat that.
Yeah, but that was the only good thing that I saw, and I'm just like, this is boring me now. The best episode from that series, though, was Roll to the Multiverse. It seems we're in a world where everything is drawn by Disney.
It's a wonderful. Yeah, no, I give the episode a 7.5, 7.5.
Okay. I mean, I give it a 9 simply because it took a turn for the unexpected with the kind of interview thing, and there were a lot of laughs in it.
No, the context of the episode was like the way it was set up. That was cool. It's just, I just wasn't feeling the moral.
And hey, to each their own. But I will say that I feel this season, and I think it's kind of the mindset that I'm having to change into, is look more for the comedy, less for the feels. Because, yeah, we'll have some really good episodes like we did last season with Thanks for the Memories and Amending Fences, but look for the funny episodes, and you'll enjoy the season a lot more.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. It's like season 5 more than 4, but season 5 was so good with some of its feels. I mean, there was some lame episodes here and there. There always are. But, I mean, goddamn, last season for me had at least 2 10s.
Mm-hmm. I mean, come on, Amending Fences, Slice of Life, frickin', what was one of the other ones? Thanks for the Memories. That got a frickin' pony psychology episode, mind you. Hashtag humble brag or
the cutie marks got their series got their cutie marks in the same episode, and in the same episode they gave Diamond Tiara a face turn.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what the fuck, mate? By the way, when are we gonna see Diamond Tiara show up again? I hope they don't retcon that as just a temporary thing, and then they either have her laughs, or because sometimes cartoons do this, or where like it'll just be like nothing happened.
In all honesty, though, I'd like to see an episode with Diamond Tiara where it's not like she's still nice, but she still has to deal with a lot of crap at home from her mom.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Because I mean, if you think about it, Filthy Rich is more of an estranged father than anything, and her mom is a total,
She's a bitch with a capital C.
Pretty much. So,
yeah.
But yeah, let's hope we can get.
Next week is I'm looking at it right now. Next week is a Rare Jack episode. Check this out. Applejack's Day Off. Twilight and Spike are tasked to work at Sweet Apple Acres, which, cool, maybe some good bonding for them.
Mhm.
While Rarity tries to get Applejack to loosen up at the spa.
Oh.
Get that saxophone from Careless Whisper going.
Or
And
just
I'm never gonna try.
get the saxophone from Star Fox Adventures or whatever.
Oh my god. And then after that, it's the goddamn Fluttershy's brother episode.
That's gonna be fun. But yeah, Applejack spending the day at the spa. That'll be fun, especially with Rarity.
There's no one else who could take her to the spa. I mean, never mind it's Rarity's character. No, just that's them and then Bookworm Twilight and then socially awkward Spike working. Well, Spike once again rather working on the farm. Dude, that's gonna be hilarious.
I'm guessing, you know what, in all honesty, I would love for them to make a joke that Twilight's just like, hey, go count the blades of grass again. And then he starts going away, and it's like, I'm kidding, right? So, all right. But yeah, we should have fun for the next couple of weeks.
Should be.
So, all right. That's it from me, John.
And that's me, Snakeskin.
And we'll talk to you guys later. Peace out, Dragon.
Bye.